Hello everyone. I hope I am clearly audible and visible. Yes. Yes, please. Everyone, please tell me the name of city from where you are logging in today. Delhi, Hyderabad, Cairo, Bangalore, San Jose, Vishakhapatnam, Kanpur. Yes. So we will start the session as soon as this timer ends and everyone is in the room. Yes. And how many of you have attended the session today? Tell me yes or no in the chat. Yes. Yes. Right now I'm in Mumbai. But I live in the northern part of India called as Noida. Yes. Wonderful. Cool. Can you guys also quickly tell me? Yes. What is your current designation? What do you do right now? Are you a student? You are a BA or something else? Student, PM, aspiring PM, student, PM, senior PM. Wonderful. I think we have a lot of people from different backgrounds. Many are PMs, many are aspiring PMs. Cool. Some are students as well. Now we are on to the timer. I will just go ahead and start with today's session. Okay. But before I could start with today's session, I will do a quick revision of 10 minutes so that we are able to understand what we have done yesterday. Okay. To bring everyone on the same pace. So yesterday, we started this campaign on AI product management, or called as the AI sprint, where in the next 4 or 5 days, which is 2 weeks, we are going to learn about how to use AI to build your products, to understand how AI works, and then how to build products which are powered by AI. Right? We are going to do all of these things. And then I have told you the agenda of the session that yesterday we talk about orientation, introduction to GenAI, the LLM economy, the value stack. Then we talk about types of AI PMs, and then we talk about how LLMs work. Today we are going to talk about different things. And I told you that you need to remember 3 things in all of these sessions. The first part is make sure that you are focusing on mindset over tactics. How I'm able to help you understand these complicated concepts with the help of simple fundamentals. This should be your major takeaway. Right? So focus on the mindset that you need to build as an AI person, as an AI product manager, rather than going into the nuances. Right? The second part is celebrate curiosity. If you have already decided to invest your time, you should make sure that you are able to, whatever curiosity that you had around AI product management or AI, you should celebrate that. You should put it out there and understand that this curiosity is only going to drive the results for you. Okay. No matter what a third person like me tell you about how you should keep yourself motivated, the only thing that motivates people is their innate curiosity. Right? So make sure that you celebrate curiosity. How do you celebrate? Go ahead and take the notes of what you are learning. Go ahead, look some more examples for yourself, read some more content around product management, AI, and then post about it on LinkedIn. so that you are able to celebrate this AI sprint like a festival. And then the third part is understand that I or any other person in the world can only give you information. Okay, I or any other person in the world can only give you information, but you don't need information, you need knowledge. And the method to convert information into knowledge is through action and reflection. So please do exercises and use ChatGPT and other models in order to reflect. Ask ChatGPT that this is my understanding of this concept. Please rate my understanding on a scale of 1 to 10. So when you write your understanding, you are improving upon it, you are writing, and when you write, you are actually thinking about it in detail. And then when ChatGPT gives you feedback, you are able to understand the gaps. Okay, so these are the three things. And as I've told you that in these 4 sessions, it is very natural to feel overwhelmed. It might feel like you are drinking from a fire hose, but that's okay. That is how you learn. Take what is helpful for you, leave everything else, do a revision couple of times with these videos. They are available on YouTube, and then take it forward from there. After that, we talk about the first topic, which is predictive versus generative AI. Predictive AI is where we have use cases such as pattern detection, classification, forecasting, recommendations. We have given you multiple use cases. It generally converts the data into a label. While in generative AI, what we do is we can create, generate, and transform data. We can understand, transform, and generate data. And here I have given you multiple use cases such as data generation into code, summaries, protein folds. We talk about image generation, audio generation, video generation. I have given you multiple examples as well. Okay. And then I told you that how generative AI is also possible because of predictive AI. Because what is generative AI? It's a large language model which is going to help you predict the next token in the sequence. So prediction is happening, but it is happening at a very large scale. Right? Then we talk about the GenAI value stack. Super important part. We talk about the then we talk about the GenAI value stack, where we first started with the infrastructure layer. These are the people and companies who are giving you the computation, data, and platform and GPUs in order to run large language models and give you infrastructure to create your AI applications. Right? Here we have examples of NVIDIA, of Google Vertex, Amazon SageMaker. Right? The second is the model layer. In the model layer, what we do is, just give me one moment. I think some issue with the network. Yes. Then we have the model layer. In the model layer, we have large language models, small language models, and a lot of training. There are specific companies, bigger companies such as Twitter, companies such as Anthropic, OpenAI, Google, who are building their own large language models. Because large language, like creating, building, training a large language model includes and needs a lot of research, lot of commitment in terms of money. That is why it is also, this value is also limited to few companies. Right? Some companies such as, it is also related to few companies such as OpenAI, Anthropic, Twitter, and other companies. After this, we have one very important layer, which is where you need to focus a lot on, which is application layer. Application layer is by using the models and the infrastructure, now you can create some interesting use cases and products on the top of the same, which is you can solve a lot of problems by using these application layer. Okay, by being in this application layer. So for example, Lovable is a product, Gamma is a product that is based on the top of this application layer. And most of you who are going to become AI product managers are actually going to work on these application layers only. Most opportunity is here. And then there are some service-based companies such as AI agencies, which are going to use all of these tools and their understanding of AI in order to solve customer problems or give some custom solutions to the businesses, right? Where are you? If you are someone who is working at Google or OpenAI, you are more probably working over there. Here, you are very probably working over here in this model layer and the infrastructure layer. But most of you, like 90-95% of you, will either work on this or you will work on this. Either you will leverage AI in order to build products, or you will build AI products on the top of the application layer on both of these things. Okay, so this was a value stack, very important to understand. And then we'll simply talk about the type of AI PMs. There are AI-enabled PMs who make sure that they are able to use AI in order to make themselves more productive. I'm sure all of you are AI-enabled PMs right now. Then we have AI product PMs who make sure that we are able to build some AI products, like product where AI is actually a functionality. And here we have two divisions. One is core AI PM, people who are working on this model and the infra layer. So everyone who work on these two layers is core AI PM. They need a technical background. And then people who are applied AI PMs, they are mostly working upon the application layer, which is this part. Right? So this is the differentiation. And then we talk about an important part, which is how large language models work. So then I told you that a large language model is nothing but a next token predictor. Okay, but a next token predictor. Now, how a large language model works? We have a lot of content that is available on the internet. We create a mathematical function also called as a transformer. Then we put this data into the transformer. In this data, we have the input and we have the output. Okay, for example, for an LLM, why is this not working? For an LLM, when you give it two words, let's say if you give it any number of words, my favorite pet is, you give it this word and then it will be able to go ahead and tell you, whether it's a cat or it's a dog or something else. So it is going to predict the next word. So this is the input and this is the output. And then if you keep on continuing this, you will have long sentences, you will have the whole paragraphs and essays and ebooks. Okay, so we have taken a lot of this data from the internet. We take this part, we call it as the input. We take this part, we call it that input. And we take this part, we call it as output. And then we feed this data. Then we feed this particular data by converting it in the form of tokens. So understand, large language models cannot understand text. Text as in the raw text that we put. So it has to be converted in the form of tokens. Tokens are the mathematical or numerical representations of these words, spellings, or spaces, or any combination. Then some input tokens are going to send here. They will be ingested in the transformer. The transformer, what it will do is, as I've told you in the session yesterday, that it is just a mathematical formula. So it will go ahead, it will predict something. And then we will check that whether the prediction is correct or not, because we already have the output, right? So the difference between what the transformer has outputted and what the real output is will be taken as loss function, which is what is the differentiation or deviation from the real results. Okay. And then based on that, all the parameters are going to be set. I have given you the equation of y equal to mx plus c, where I told you how m and c are the parameters that you need to deduct in order to find the equation of that line. Okay. And then it will run continuously. So you will enter the incomplete sentence once. You will give the other part of sentence from here, and then it will match. If it matches, it's very good. If it does not match, then it is going to change the value of parameters to match it. One run. Then second run with other sentence. Third run with other sentence. Fourth run with other sentence. This is going to be run billions and trillions of times. And when this is done again and again, you will eventually get a list of parameters, like a value of parameters, where we will get a good complete formula, which is able to, you will think like it is able to think on its own, right? So in the equation y equal to mx plus c, we only have to have two values, two inputs and two outputs. We are able to get the value. But here there are billion parameters. So we are going to run it billion number of times with so many internet data, so much resources, so much crawling data to make sure that we are able to train this. And once this training is done, we will be ready with something called as, tell me in the chat. Once this is done, we'll be ready with a model. What is that model called? Tell me in the chat, everyone who have joined the session yesterday. Very good. That's a base model. Yes. Wonderful, wonderful, everyone. Yes, great, great, great. Yes. So we have a base model, right? But base model is like a kid, like a 2-3-year-old kid. He cannot speak, she cannot speak because of their ability. And they are not, let's say, morally sound to go ahead and act in the world. They can go ahead and tell anything, right? So what we do is, when there are kids in our house, like small kids, we sit with them, we tell them how to speak, we tell them about the moral values, we get them to listen to our religious text. So if you are born in a Muslim family or a Hindu family or a Christian family, they are going to give you that kind of information and stories so that you feel inspired and you are able to form your moral construct and you are able to form your some kind of opinions and perspectives. Okay. And this is the same thing that happens with these models as well. So there are humans, and with other large language models, we are going to generate some training data, which is well laid out. For example, there are right questions and right answers. And when you train your model on these data, you are going to transform that model from just being a next token predictor to actually a helpful assistant. One example is, many of the models hallucinate. So what we now do is, we train the model, we ask model about the question that it does not know. And then we give it an answer that, please tell that I do not know about this. And when you train your model on this enough number of times, you will understand that the hallucination has actually reduced, even if it has not came to zero. Right? So post-training is a very important part. And understand, this post-training is not only useful for bigger companies such as OpenAI and Microsoft and Google and others, but it is also helpful for you when you are creating your own product. So when you create your product, in the coming session on next Saturday, I'll tell you about contextualization, how you are able to mold the AI model as per your own use case, where we will talk about fine tuning. Right? And a very interesting point I'll tell you, that there is a company called Claude. Like Anthropic is the company, Claude is the model. I'm sure most of you might have came across it, some of you might have used it. So what they have done is, they have built a constitution that we think that model should be user-centric, it should follow these ethics, it should privacy first. So what they have done is, they have created this constitution and they have trained their model on the top of the same. So that model is always nice, it is not jumping in your privacy, and it is taking care of your data like its own. Right? So just with few fine-tuning, they are able to actually go ahead and give model a personality. Right? So this is how the large language models work. Okay. Then we talked about building AI products. And this is where I'm going to continue from today. Okay. But before I could go ahead in the session today, please everyone tell me on a scale of 1 to 5, how well are you able to understand everything so far? Yes. Cool. Amazing. Also, guys, there is one request that I have for everyone. We want to make sure that these free sessions are able to reach as many people as possible. So we need your help over there. Okay. So now what we'll do is, although all of this content is already available to you on YouTube, what we are also doing is we are adding some additional content, one more session. Plus, we will be giving certificates to everyone who is going ahead and talking about this particular program and putting a link of this program on their LinkedIn. So what you need to do is just share your experience or your notes or some experience about this program on your LinkedIn, and also make sure that in the comment or in the post, you are putting that link of AI Sprint. That will make sure that most of the people in the future are able to get through this basic content, because we believe that this is the fundamental right of everyone to go ahead and at least get through this content rather than being overwhelmed by AI. Okay, this is going to become the fundamental education because we are setting that benchmark and we need your help. Okay, because we are not charging you anything from these sessions, they will remain free. But if you want an additional certificate and some additional content which is premium, it is my request to everyone that I will be sharing a form at the end of the session today. You have to just make a LinkedIn post. You can make it today, you can make it tomorrow. You have to do it in 24 hours. You have to write about the session. You can share your notes. You can share your perspective. You have to link it to the AI Sprint page that you have. I'll also provide you the link. And then you have to copy that link of that post and send it to us through that form. And then we'll be able to give you the certification. I'm sure that certification will add a lot of value to your profile. Okay. A quick yes or no, everyone, if you are on the same page. Wonderful. So let me go ahead and continue with the session. Okay. So today, guys, we are going to talk about a very important part. So far we have talked about theory, that this is what LLM is, this is what everything is. We have digged a lot into these two layers. I have also talked about attention and why GPUs are the best use case over here. But today I'll talk about something more practical, which is how do you leverage this? This we have already talked about in the first session. Now we'll talk about how do you leverage this to build this. Okay, so how do you build AI products, right? So how do you build AI products is no surprises, similar to how do you build a product, right? So how do you build a product? Whenever you build a product, you have to take care of 4 things, right? So whenever you build a product, just give me one moment. Yes. So whenever you build a product, you need to take care of 4 things. The first thing is and this is a framework that is given by the mighty Marty Cagan. And this is something that you should always remember. This is the fundamentals of product management. Okay. So before that, let me give you the first fundamental of product management. Okay, understand? Everything in product management can change, but this fundamental will not change. Some companies do product management is one way. Some product companies do product management in another way, but this principle is same. Principle is the purpose of a PM is to solve user problems and achieve company outcomes. Always remember this, never forget this. So if someone asks you, what does a product manager do? A product manager solves user problems to get the company outcomes. Now, when you talk about solving the user problem, there are 2 parts. First part is you need to understand the problems, because you cannot solve problems when you don't understand them. Then every problem is not important. So you have to prioritize the problems. After that, you have to come up with the solution of the problem. So this in itself is a bigger thing, right? And similarly, when you want to create the solutions, you need to collaborate with the design team, the marketing team, the sales team, the engineering team, right? So you need to understand something about agile and these kind of things, delivery, right? But this is fundamental. It might be possible that your team is very good enough. They don't need you to go ahead and do follow-up every couple of weeks. So they can do the work by themselves. But still, This will remain true. You have to solve user problems, right? Similarly, you have to achieve business outcomes. The work of a product manager is not done till the users are reciprocating the value. For example, you as a business, gives some value to the user. What is the value? Value is you solve a problem for the user or you address a desire for the user, right? Now, if this is real value for the user will be able to reciprocate that. Reciprocation means they will either give you money, or they will give you attention, right? They will give you money or they will give you attention. For example, when you order something from Amazon gives you a lot of items to choose from. It gives you ratings, reviews. It gives you the ability to take that item right at your home through a delivery service. And they give you convenience, cost optimization, and also they give you choices. So this is the value that Amazon gives you. And in return, what you give is, you give it money, right? And the Amazon, it takes money from you, takes a fair share, and then passes it on to the seller, right? Similarly, if you are using a product such as Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, where you are not directly paying money, there you are paying with your attention. And then that attention is being sold to the advertisers, and then they make money out of the same, right? So this is the fundamental equation that any product manager who works, their purpose is to solve user problems, achieve company outcomes. So if you believe that I am following up with the customers, I am doing testing, is it a job of a product manager? Yes, if it helps you achieve the outcomes of the business and solve user problems. So don't think that product manager is only a strategy or an execution or a marketing or a growth or a collaboration role. It is whatever it takes in order to achieve these two things. Understood? First thing. Now, with that being said, whenever we build a product, we take care of 4 things. Okay. So whenever a product is built, we have to make sure that it is able to answer these 4 questions or be valid on these 4 parameters. The first parameter that I've told you is the product should be valuable, which is there should be a problem or a desire in your audience because of which you are creating this product, right? So if you are building a product which is B2C or business to customer product like Instagram, so Instagram is solving for boredom and social validation, right? That is a problem. That is why it is valuable. It is not valuable because it is having some, let's say, complicated algorithms and all. It is valuable because it solves an important problem in the life of the user of boredom, entertainment, and some kind of social validation, right? Another category could be B2B products. Slack is a B2B product, right? Google Cloud is a B2B product. People need Slack so that they are able to communicate with their co-workers or their colleagues. Can't they collaborate? Can't they work with them on email? Yes, they can work with them on emails. But email is made for non-synchronous communication. It is not real time. It is not designed for longer threads. It is not designed for interactivity. Okay, so that is the value that this solution of Slack brings, right? And the third part, which is also when people sometimes, or I would say most of the time people miss, is you can also be a product manager for an internal product. For example, you are a product manager at DoorDash. And now you people are getting a lot of queries from the customers that order is not reaching on time. DoorDash, Zomato, and Swiggy are same kind of companies, same kind of business model. They help you deliver, they get you to get the home delivered to your food. Get the food delivered to your home, sorry. So then what we do is, in that particular case, they will go ahead and they are getting a lot of queries that where my order is, I need to track my order. So what you will do is, and they are getting a lot of queries on the internal customer team. So you will go ahead and create a tool for the internal customer team or for an internal team so that they are able to go ahead and talk better with the customers. Customers will not see these tools, but these are used for the internal organization. Okay. These days we are seeing that there are many people who are optimizing the internal products, like optimizing the internal processes and operations with the help of internal products. Okay. So here also there has to be a use case. There has to be a problem. There has to be a desire that you are satisfying. Okay. This is the most important part for a product manager. Right? And if you take this decision incorrectly, let's say you find something that was not valuable at the first go, you have not done enough research, but still you are trying too hard in order to go ahead and maybe build a product, fight with technology, do some LLMs and do so many things, and then you are not able to succeed. Why? Because you are not going in the right direction. You have not decided on a good enough problem. Right? And also, guys, understand one more important thing. This value is not in isolation. Don't think that every person in the world will face this challenge and this product would be valuable for them. When you define the value, you also define who needs that value. Who needs that value? Right? For example, if someone is rich and you ask them that, should we go ahead and create an affordable car, and that car is going to have so many functionalities, and then that car would be available in maybe a very cheap price, and then they will say that maybe we'll not need this kind of product. We already have a BMW or a Merc, and we do not need to get this kind of product. That does not solve our problem. So you could have created a big innovation in the industry by creating like a very cost optimized car. But if you are talking to the wrong people in order to get the feedback and validation, if you are selling it to the wrong people, it will look like a failed idea. Right? So understand, who matters as much as what of the value. Okay. So you should have a clear idea about what is the problem that we are solving and who are the people for whom these problems matter a lot. I have seen people creating fantastic products, but they are selling it to the wrong audience. Right? That is also called as product market fit, because you have a product, fantastic product, but you're selling it to the wrong audience, and then you are not getting the product market fit. If you sell the right product to the right audience, then only your product will succeed. Okay. So please never forget the human part behind the valuable part or this important part of product management. Okay. Other things we are going to cover quickly because they are not so important for you as a product manager. The second part is usable. Usable means whether people would be able to use your product or not. Whether people would be able to use your product in order to derive value. Right? With an airplane, all of us can go ahead and cover the distance worth of thousands of kilometers in few hours. Okay. But the usability of airplane is such that none of us can go ahead and drive it. There has to be some trained pilots who can go ahead and drive that. Why? Because there are higher stakes. And companies find no value in making it as stupid so that everyone can go ahead and get a pilot license, because that is not required. But you as a product manager has to make sure that whoever is the audience for your product, you should be able to make the product usable for them. If the product is not usable, even if people want to use it, they might not be able to do so. Right? And these days, because there is a lot of competition in so many AI products, for every use case, you have 1,000 AI products. Right? These days, your UX or your usability can play a very important role. Right? So usability is very important. Also, one more thing. I'll give you one example here. So GPT-2 actually, It was launched in around 2019, 2020. After that, attention is all you need model was popularized. Okay. It was launched then. But all of us started using in 2022 when Chat GPT came. This was not able to get a lot of popularity. It is not that it was not helpful. It was helpful. It was not as helpful as it does Chat GPT 3, 4, or 5 is, but still it was very, very helpful. Right? But people could not use it. Why? Because GPT-2 was available only as an application programming interface, which is you need to know how to code in order to leverage the value of GPT-2. And because of which the adoptability in the market, the adoption in the market was less. Right? And because understand, it's not that there are less number of developers who can go ahead and do this. The developers who wanted to implement, understand, developer has a use case where the output should be deterministic. But because GPT is a large language model, output cannot be deterministic. Even developers were not able to go ahead and use these APIs. Okay, so GPT-2 was released in 2019-20, and it did not got mass adoption because it was offered as an API. But in 2022, when GPT-3 launched, it was definitely a better model than GPT-2. In GPT-3, what they did was they created it into the interface of chat so that people like you or me who do not understand about tech, about API, who do not want to create product with GPT, we just want to go ahead and play it around with ourselves, use it to create some documents, are now able to use it. Right? So just improving the usability from an API to a chat interface actually made GPT one of the fastest growing products in the world. Right? So that is usability. And also remember that usability is not only about interface and buttons and signups and screens. If you are a technical product manager who is creating APIs, okay. So before I could talk about APIs, everyone a quick yes or no in the chat if you know about APIs. API. If you know about API, a quick yes or no in the chat. So people who are saying no, what you should do is, you can after this session, search for API for product managers. You can write my name or HelloPM to get a detailed 50-minute video where I've explained about API for product managers. Please do so. It is mandatory for every product manager to learn APIs. No saving yourself from that. Okay. So now when you are offering API as a product, right, then your usability will be determined by the quality of documentation that you create. Right? Because your users are developers and they will be able to use the API because the API is well designed, plus it is having enough documentation. Right? So you need to make sure that you are focusing on the usability part. So valuable is a PM responsibility. Usable, you can say most of the time it's a designer responsibility, but it is also coming under the accountability of PM. Right? The third thing is viability. Viability means, does it make sense for your business to pursue this idea? Does it make sense for your business to pursue this idea? Will it be a profitable business? Is it a big opportunity? Right? Because business has to invest its time, resources. Everything that you do has to be strategically aligned. Right? So that is around viability. Right? And also in viability, you will also get questions around business, which is what is the cost, how will you do monetization, and so many other things. Okay, so this is the business perspective. Every product manager needs to understand this. And the last part is where people either focus too much or they leave it to the luck, which is the feasibility. Feasibility means practically, is it possible for you to go ahead and build this product? So the understanding of your engineers, the competence of your engineers, the availability of technology, the cost of technology is going to define the feasibility. Right? So let's say, okay, so in the chat, guys, tell me, apart from Chat GPT, what are different kind of AI products that you have used? Try to put something which is not very popular, which you think is not very popular. Try to put something which you think is not very popular. Cool. Understood. Right. So let's say we talk about a product which someone has mentioned in the chat. Let's say I'll mention two products. Okay. I'll mention two products. One is Perplexity, and other product is Napkin.ai. In Perplexity, what happens? In Perplexity, what happens? When you ask it a question or a prompt, it will search the web, it will collect the results, and then it will use AI in order to transform them. Transform them, it will create a summary or a good narrative. Right? So you ask a question, it goes to the internet like Google, it crawls all the information, but rather than giving you direct links and letting you figure it out by yourself, it also gives you a very good commentary. So your question is being answered. Right? Now understand, in this particular part, this use case was not possible if you cannot crawl the internet. So feasibility is you should be able to crawl the internet in this case. And second feasibility is you should have some system that is able to take this content, and it should be able to go ahead and create. It should be able to go ahead and create the summary and transformation. So which means you need an LLM. Similarly, in Napkin.ai, what you do is you give it the content, and then it transforms the content in the form of infographics. And these infographics are nothing. You can create your own Napkin.ai after the fourth session. I will tell you what is the logic around Napkin.ai. Even after today's session, I'll give you some idea. Okay. So what it does is it will take the content, it will summarize the content, it will pick up the major parts from the content with the help of some prompts. And then it is going to put them in some infographic templates, and then it is created. Right? So you can also create your own Napkin.ai at your own home. Right? So that is there. And now understand here, the summarization of content, understanding the content, structuring the content was not possible before LLMs. So tools that you are mentioning in the chat were not possible to be created before GPT or any other large language model could work. Okay, so that is the feasibility. The feasibility part is whether it is practical for you to create it or not. Whether it can practically be done from a technical angle, from a feasibility angle. Right? Major mistake that product managers make is they start learning about the feasibility part, they go into the deep, and then they understand there is no bottom to this. There is no bottom to this depth. I'm going ahead, I'm learning about deep learning, machine learning, I'm learning about so many complicated concepts, and then they distract themselves with this content rather than focusing on the other three parts. Okay, so this is what you have to do as a product manager. Okay, focus on four things. I know that focusing on four things is actually an oxymoron because you cannot focus on four things. But start from value. It is your number one responsibility. If the product fails, and if it fails because you are not able to find users who can use the product, that is a product failure. If the product fails because you have promised user something, but you are not able to deliver it, then it's a technical failure. If the product fails because it was not able to sustain the cost and everything, that is a viability failure and some kind of usability failure as well, availability failure as well, because people are not using it and they are not giving you money, right? And if the product fails and people do not use it, let's say usability is less, then it is failing because people are not using the product, right? And there are different metrics that you can use in order to find all of these things. Okay, there are different metrics that you can use in order to find what is causing the failure, and then you can iterate on the same. And also understand, guys, failure is not a destination, it's a milestone. Failure is not a destination, it's a milestone. You can always iterate, pivot, and learn from it. So if you keep your stakes low, if you already have that learning mindset, then definitely these failures will not become the end point. They will become the milestones. Okay, but you as a product manager should always know why has it failed. If the product has failed, that is not an issue. But it failed and you don't know why it failed, that is an issue on your credibility as a product manager. Right? So this is the 4 risk framework: valuable, usable, viability, and feasible. Okay. Everyone tell me on a scale of 1 to 5 if you are able to understand these. Amazing. Very cool. Yes, people who are watching this on YouTube, you can put it in the comment section rather in the chat, because chat is going to go away as we go ahead and stop the session. Cool. Wonderful. Now let's consider some examples. Okay. Now let's consider some examples. Okay. So I have created this simple framework, which we are going to cover in the coming sessions. Just give me a moment. Yes, so today, first of all, we are going to cover the AI product cycle, use cases, building blocks of AI products, and then I'll give you 2 case studies. Okay. We have already talked about some of the matters. Okay. Now, look at this diagram very carefully. In order to build an AI product, you have to look at multiple angles. Just having an LLM will not work. Just understanding the use case will not work. Just looking at data and technology and creating interfaces will not work. Things have to come together. In order to prepare like a good omelette, you need good eggs, you need salt, you need pepper, you need some vegetables, you need some bread, and you also need some good pan, which is on the top of some fire. Right? If any of these things are missing, might be you'll not be able to create an omelette, or you'll not be able to create the best omelette that is possible. Right? So always understand, there is not one parameter, there are multiple parameters. So if someone asks you whether, let's say, feasibility is important or availability is important or this is important or that is important, that is a useless question. Right? You always have to make sure that you are able to do a balance. Whatever is necessary at that point of time, you have to do this. Okay. So should product managers be technical? Definitely they should be technical. But is it practical for every product manager to know technical? No, it is not practical, because if someone has invested their time in learning the business, they would have taken this time from the time that they could have invested in technology. So they are good with business. So they should find a good engineering manager with whom they can go ahead and collaborate. Right? So now I'll give you the nuances of building the AI products. Okay. The first part is simply the value add, which is how the product is valuable. I have told you high level about value, but to go into the details, value add means, first of all, you need to understand the user needs. For this, you need to understand 4 terms. You can do the research on your own. I think this data is available on the HelloPM website as well, and you can search it on the internet or GPT. Okay. So if you want to understand the needs of your user, you need to take care of 4 things. First is jobs to be done. why will the user use your product? Right? It needs some practice and some understanding of this concept. Second is user journey. How does the user solve this problem right now? What are the problems and hiccups that they face? It will help you empathize with the users. Third part, ICPs. ICPs stand for ideal customer profiles. Similar to a user persona, where you describe the details of your user so that you are able to empathize. I told you that rather than just a problem, who faces a problem is very important. Right? And how do you get all of these things? Jobs to be done, user journey, ICPs, understanding of the, how do you get? You get it by talking to people, by conducting surveys and interviews. For that, you need to understand Mom's test. So we have a bigger program at HelloPM, which is like a 4-month program, where we help you understand everything in detail. So you can go ahead and learn it from there, or you can just search it on the internet. Okay. So that's the first part. You need to understand these things in order to understand if the product is valuable. Okay. Then there are other things. For example, if you are creating a B2B company, B2B product, then you have to understand the workflow, which is right now how people are doing something, and then what are the problems they are facing, and then how you can optimize the same. I'll give you an example in just a moment. Yes. And then proof of problem. What is proof of problem? Just because you think that's a problem, it is not true that it would be a problem. So you need to do some research, market research, gather some data, conduct some interviews with all of these parameters in order to prove that this problem exists. Right? And then the last part is solution differentiation. How do you make sure that everything that is available in the market right now, your solution is a bit differentiated? Why would people come to you than to by leaving whatever they are using existingly? Okay, so that is the value part. Before I could cover all the other parameters, let me give you an example. Okay, so how many of you have heard about this product? How many of you have heard about this product called as Granola? A quick yes or no in the chat, please. Okay, cool. So what I'll do is, I am giving everyone a website. Okay, I am giving everyone a website. And I am giving everyone time for 5 minutes. In 2 minutes, you should go ahead and look at the website. And in 3 minutes, you should take a break and drink some water. Okay, so I'll start a 5-minute breaker, go through this website, understand what it does, and then we are going to understand this product in detail. 2-3 minutes, you just observe the website. You don't need to go into the details, just understand the use case. Okay, and then 3 minutes you can take for your break. We'll see each other after this timer ends. Wonderful. Welcome back, everyone. I hope everyone has gone through the website. Yes. Amazing. Cool. Let me check the chat. Yes. Wonderful. Cool. So now, yes. So what is Granola? Granola says that I am a AI notepad for people who are in back-to-back meetings. That is a fancy way of saying that I am a meeting assistant, right? I am a meeting assistant that whenever you have a meeting, Granola is going to join the call with you. It is going to take the transcription of that call, and then it is going to give you some actionable summary, right? So that is the product. I will go ahead and help you understand this. And please, everyone, focus on this. This is very important because I can give you as much theory as possible, but you only get the real learning that is going to remain for you for a longer period of time, only with the exercises. Okay. So what Granola does, what is the solution? I'm not talking about problem. What is the solution? What Granola does is you install Granola on your MacBook. I think right now it is only available for MacBook. Okay. What is the purpose of understanding this product? So that you are able to understand how actual products are created, how to think about them. This is very important part, the most important part in the session. Okay. So we will install Granola and then we will sync our calendar with Granola. Okay. We will sync our calendar with Granola. After that, calendar could be your Hotmail calendar, your Yahoo calendar, or most probably your Google calendar or your Apple calendar, right? And when it syncs the calendar, it will get all the data about your events. The data also contains the joining link, right? Similarly, after it has gotten the data around the sync of calendar, whenever a new, let's say a new event is about to happen, let's say I'm going to have a call at from 9 p.m. Okay. So automatically Granola is going to activate my mic and it will start listening from the meeting. Because it is already installed on my Mac, I've already given it the permission. There are some privacy laws to the same, which I have adhered to. I have told that, yes, I have read about them and I'm okay for Granola to go ahead and take my information. Okay. So then it takes over the mic in the meeting and it is going to go ahead and listen during the meeting. Okay. It is going to listen. Now here, understand one thing. I am sure most of you might have used a product called as Fireflies. Okay. Fireflies, or you would have used a product such as Phantom.ai. There are multiple products, or maybe Otter.ai. The issue with those products is that they are going to join the meeting. And when they join the meeting, and maybe it is possible that maybe the other person might not like it. And maybe if they miss joining the meeting, it is not on the same device, and maybe you are going to struggle. Okay. But what Granola does is, rather than joining your meeting, it will automatically get activated and you'll not even know that, yes, there is someone who is transcribing the call. So it is more user-friendly in terms of the experience. Right? So you don't have to do anything. It is going to go ahead and make sure that it is able to take the notes from the call. How does it take the notes? It is going to listen. Then by listening, it is going to transcribe. Okay. Transcription happens. How does transcription happen? How is a model able to take some voice and they are able to go ahead and convert it into some text? So this is possible because of multiple APIs. The most popular API for transcription is the Whisper API from OpenAI. So here what happens is, let's say if I show you the website, introducing Whisper. Okay. So what you can do is you can just go ahead. There is content. Let's say there is some audio content. You can convert this into multiple languages of transcript with the help of Whisper API, and the cost and everything is also mentioned. Right. So that is the first part. Now, after the transcript is created, so now with Whisper API, what we have is from the listening, we have the transcript. Right. Now, this transcript is not very useful. No one reads the transcript. I am a busy person. What I want to know is, I want to have something called as a summary, or even better, I need to have what? I need to have actionables. Generally, what happens in a meeting is, I do not want the summary, but I want what is the next step that people need to do. Okay, so it is going to convert the transcript into summaries and this. So it is going to transform. And how will it do it? With the help of large language models. How exactly? But so this is the prompt that they can give. Okay, so look at this carefully. So this is not the exact prompt, but this is my guess that this is what they are putting for the transcript. Okay, so this is what they are putting. Let's say they are calling the OpenAI or any other API, and they are sending it the complete transcript. But on the top of this transcript, they are putting this prompt. You are an expert chief of staff, Notetaker. Given the following raw meeting transcript, generate a structured and actionable summary that includes following sections. The meeting title, which gives this, date and participants, key decisions made, action items, open questions, summary by topics discussed, notable quotes. Focus on clarity, conciseness, usefulness, ignore filler words, and do these things. Right? So understand, this is the tech stack of AI. I created a product which is able to join calls. That can be done by the Mac API or the Windows API, where you create products on the top of the same. Right? You need just to have the permission for the mic. Fun thing. Then they are using another API in order to convert that voice that they are capturing from the mic and the speakers into something called as transcript, which is text content, which is done by Whisper API. And then with this transcript, they are able to put this prompt and give the whole thing to LLM in order to build this product, in order to give suggestions to people. Right? So this is the whole product, how it works. This is an AI product and this is how it works. Okay, now let us talk about how this product is valuable. Okay, we will look at the product from all the 4 angles. The first angle is valuable. What happens in valuable is, there has to be a problem that some people face, and this should be solved by this product. So what is the problem that this product this solves? Okay, people need to summarize meetings. People need to summarize meeting. That is one problem. But understand, summarizing meetings is a very vague problem statement. Right? What I need is, I need some actionables and lessons or takeaways from meeting. So why do we need the summary? We need a summary so that we are able to follow up. And there is one more problem that people face. Okay, what you might have observed is that when people do meetings and these kind of assistants are not available, they have to keep a notepad together with them, and then they keep on writing. Right? So when you start a Granola meeting, it actually creates for you a notepad in parallel, so that you are able to go ahead and write things in this notepad, and then the transcript will also come, and then you can go ahead and combine them together. Right? So it is solving some problems, which is, first of all, who is the target? Target is people who have too many meetings. Because people who have less number of meetings, they might not find some value in this product. Why? Because they can just take their notepad and they can just go ahead and write. Right? Similarly, people who want to value the actionables and learnings and takeaways from their meetings, they are going to use this product. So who are these products? These are professional people. It's a B2B product. Right? So this is the value of the product. Now talking about the usability part. Other AI note takers are a bit intrusive. They will take the details from the calendar and then they will keep on joining the calls. And you might have seen that on a Zoom meeting. In this Zoom meeting also, you could see hundreds of note takers. Right? That is not a good experience for the user. So what it does is it just listens to the call very passively without being there in the meeting, without increasing the number of participants. Right? And it also gives you a notepad. It was able to understand that. Imagine a scenario when user is taking a note. Okay. User is in a meeting. So in order to take the note, they will keep a notepad or they'll open a notebook or some kind of application on their phone. So they are also offering a notepad that will only get activated when you are on the call. And for that particular meeting, a separate note would be created automatically. So that is the level of user empathy through which they are able to create a better usability. Okay. So automatic joining in meetings, automatic summary, and other things. Right? And maybe note taking plus transcription. They are doing both the things. That is the second perspective. The third perspective is, yes, and you can also get the conclusion from this. What is the conclusion of the meeting? Right? And it also happens with me that whenever I'm taking like before Granola, I install Granola. Whenever I take the call, I need to remember that what I told this person to do, what they told me to do, and then I have to send it on an email and all. This problem is solved. So product is valuable. It is usable. The third part is the product feasible? So I've already told you the feasibility part. Okay. Feasibility. Can it do everything that it is suggesting, where it is promising? Yes. It can use the Windows and Mac API in order to get the permission of the mic. It can use the calendars API, all the calendars API in order to get the understanding of the event. It can convert the audio into transcript with the help of Whisper API. And then it is able to convert this into actionables with the help of the OpenAI or any other LLM with the exact prompt that I have shown you. Right? So next week, when I will tell you about NA10, actually you can also create your homegrown version of NA10, of Granola. Right? Because all of these APIs are also available to you. Right? So feasibility part, I hope everyone is able to understand how, like say, what is the system architecture of this particular product. Right? And then the last part is actually the viability part. Viability part, whether it makes sense for the business to create this or not. So understand, if the value part is sorted, half of your viability part is also sorted. Why? Because if people are finding value in your product, they will pay for the product. Then it will make sense for your business. Now the next question comes, whether you should do this or not, which depends upon the practicality and the cost optimization. Right? So whenever you create any AI product, you need to have some cost considerations in mind, which is the cost of tokens. Viability means you have to understand the product from the business angle, which is strategy, practicality, value, return on investment, and also profitability. Okay. So what should be the cost of this product? On how much we should go ahead and offer this product. So it will depend upon the cost of tokens. How to calculate the cost of tokens? Understand, most of the times, these are your tokens. Tokens means output token plus input token. Sometimes the cost of output token is different than the cost of input token. Sometimes it is same. Okay. So output token plus input token. What is output token? Output token is what is the result that Granola is going to give. So Granola gives you summary. So you can say that a summary contains maybe 500 words. That is roughly around 700 tokens, I would say. That is just a guesstimate. You don't need to count on that number. Right? Guys, whatever tools that I'm taking, N8N and all, we will talk about this in detail in the coming sessions. Okay. So cost of token, which is whenever you send these details, like this transcript to the LLM, it is going to charge you money. Right? So you need to put that consideration into your cost factors. Okay. You need to put that factors into your cost consideration. Right? So we have 700 tokens plus this is the output token. Now for input token means that what is the length, like token in your prompt template. So we are giving this particular thing. Okay. So this is the prompt that we are giving, right? And this prompt is how long? This prompt is around 200 words long. So I can say it could have about 250 tokens. That is just a guesstimate, guys. Okay, don't count on that number. So let's say it is 250 plus what is the length of meeting? Because with this prompt, we are going to send the complete transcript. Right? So we will send the complete transcript. And for that transcript, we need to calculate what would be the estimated cost or number of tokens. So let's say average number of meetings are going to be about, let's say 30 minutes. That's an average that you have taken. Okay. This is a guesstimate. Okay. For 30 minutes of meeting, in 1 minute, someone can go ahead and speak about maybe 120 words. So 120 into how much? 30 minutes, which is equal to around 400 or maybe 4,000. Okay. And then for 4,000, I can assume that number of tokens are going to be 5,000 because number of tokens are generally a slightly higher than the number of those that you have, for example. The number of words that you have. Okay. So now what we have is the input token in one call is actually 5,250 tokens. So input tokens are this and output tokens were how much? Summary, yes, about 700 tokens. Okay, I told you what token is. The words are converted into tokens and then they are being sent for the LLMs to progress. And all the LLMs charge you on the basis of tokens. OpenAI API cost. Look at this. So they will charge you $3 for 1 million tokens. Right? For 4.1. For 4.1 mini, it is $3 for 1 million tokens. Then less than $1.80 for 1 million tokens, which means this is not so aggressive model. So for smaller tasks such as summarization, you can use these models as well. That is some calculation that you need to do as a product manager. You need to, before you could deploy this product, you need to test this product. You need to test your evaluations and models, how the quality is coming. For that, we are going to consider evaluations, but in the next session. Okay. So you have this. Now what will happen? Okay. So before I could go ahead, everyone, a quick yes or no, if you are able to understand everything so far. This token thing is important. Yes. Amazing. Wonderful. Great. Now, everyone, what you should do is, okay, because we want this thing to reach as many people as possible, I have just posted something on LinkedIn. Just give me a moment. Yes. Yes. Before I could tell you how to actually look at the costing of these products, okay, I have sent a link in the chat. If you guys are enjoying this session, please let me know on LinkedIn if you are liking the session. Go ahead, take a moment, and then try to give the feedback. Yes. Okay, I'll repeat everything in just 2 minutes. Everyone go ahead and try to give some. I've shared a link in the chat. If you are genuinely liking the value of the session, go ahead and give it a comment. That will help us reach more people so that we can increase the horizon of this impact. Yes, 30 more seconds, please. Amazing. Cool. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Now let's go ahead. Yes. Cool. So I will explain everything again. Okay. So what happens is so in most of the application layer products, what you will have is you will have some data that you get from the customers in form of code, in form of input, in form of prompt, in terms of transcript, audio, video, voice, anything. Okay, you have this data. And then you add this in a prompt template. Because you need to tell the LLM that what to do with this data. Do you need to create summary or an image or do something? Okay, so you are going to connect the data in the prompt. This is going to become your input. And then you will send this to the large language model. And the large language model will do its work. So it is first going to convert into tokens, and then it is going to follow your request. And then it is going to give you some kind of output. Right? The cost that you are going to pay to the LLM, the cost that you are going to pay for the LLM, yes, the cost that you are going to pay for the LLM will depend upon what is the length of this input and what is the length of this output, which is measured in terms of tokens that are entered and tokens that are outputted. Okay, so we will determine the number of output tokens. So let's say generally summaries are 500 words long. So for let's say simplicity, I'm assuming that one word equal to one prompt. In reality, it is a bit different, 1.2 or 1.5 for one word, but let's consider it is 500 tokens. For input, we have two things. We have our prompt template and we have the data from the user, which is a transcript. So the prompt is around 250 words long, which we have already seen, right? Which I have already shown you here. And then, yes. And then we also have the data, which is transcript. So assuming, let us do the calculation, assuming that 1 minute generates about 120 words, person is able to speak 120 words in 1 minute. Then in 30 minutes, we assume that they'll be able to say 130 into this, right? Which is 3600. Okay. And we are assuming that most of the meetings are going to be 30 minutes long. Right? You can also go ahead and calculate this data from Google and you'll be able to understand what is the average length of a meeting. But that is a guesstimate that you need to do. Okay. So you will have about 30 to 100 words for input plus this prompt. So you have how much? Maybe I will say 3,500 tokens, right? 3,500 input tokens and 500 output tokens, right? Now, what is the cost of token? The cost of token is $3 for 1 million tokens and $12 for 1 million tokens. When a model generates the output, it is also called as inference. So if someone goes ahead and not understand what inference is, because this term is used many times, inference is just a model doing its work, right? A model doing its work. That is inference. Okay. So input and output. Now this is not over. This is only for one meeting. Okay. We will understand. We will take a guesstimate that, let's say, we will have three kinds of users in the system. So every product might have three kinds of users at a larger level. One is people who are casual users. Second, people who are regular users. And third is people who are power users. Casual users are people, maybe they will be using this tool for maybe once or maybe twice in a week. Okay, so they might be having about 20 meetings, right? They might be having about 20 meetings, right? Yes, so this is 3,600. Sorry for the maths. So now it becomes about 4,000. Okay, yes. So 20 meters, okay. They are going to do, let's say casual users are going to do 20 meetings. And for these casual users, we should be having 20 into how much? 4,000 plus 20 meetings. Input number of token is 4,000 and output number of token is how much? Maybe 250 or 500, right? So 20 into, let's say, 4, 4,500, and we will have the cost of the token. One thing. Second is we have regular people. Regular people are going to have about 2 to 3 meetings every day. So they will have about 60 meetings. And then 60 into 4,500. This is the number of tokens that they will consume in a month. And third is power users, people such as PMs who are doing all the meetings in the world. Okay. So then these are the people who might be doing maybe 5 meetings every day. 5 into maybe 30, which becomes around 150 meetings. 150 into 4,500. Okay. Then you will go ahead and calculate that, yes, on an average, if you go ahead and take an average, then you understand that maybe in a month, in total, people have to spend maybe 1 million tokens. One person would be able to spend 1 million tokens in input or in output. Okay, now you can go back here. What is the cost? And then you can understand whether you will burn money or you will make money. Okay, understand, this is not, let's say, 100% foolproof formula. Okay, you have to evolve it. You have to understand through your data, you have to do the research, and you also have to have a choice of the model. Understand? You should not use a sword where a needle can be used. For example, for summarization is not a big thing in LLM these days. It can be done via GPT 4.1 mini as well. Okay, but if you want to do some calculated mathematical task and all, then maybe you should use this O4, which is like a very costly model. Okay, so as a product manager, whenever you are building AI, you need to take care of, when you are building on top of LLMs, you need to take care of what we call as cost of inference. If you want to use AI models, you need to take care of cost of inference. Okay, there are models such as Llama, such as OpenAI's OSS, such as some other models on Hugging Face, where you can also host these models on your own system. But if you're running this on your own system or your own server, you need to take those server from the infrastructure people, which is NVIDIA, which is Google Vertex, which is Amazon. Then also you are going to pay the cost. Right? So you have to be considerate of that particular cost of inference. cost of inference depends upon your use case, okay, frequency of use, your choice of model. Okay, so this is a very important consideration for a product manager if you want to understand about the monetization and the viability part. Okay, so please understand, as a product manager, nothing should be a black box for you. You just have to understand how to do this, get into some details, get some guesstimates, and then you are good to go. Right? So now I have told you the Granola case study. So what we did in Granola, we understood the use case. I told you how it is usable. Then I told you the tech architecture. And then I told you how this particular cost of inference might have been calculated. Right? Everyone tell me on a scale of 1 to 5, if you are able to understand this particular case study. Yes. Now tell me very honestly, okay, listen to this question carefully, okay, before you give the answer. Tell me on a scale of 1 to 5, what was your understanding of building AI products before the session and how it is right now? Like 1, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1, you can put any number. I just want to understand if you are understanding this. Okay, so the purpose of this session, I'm not saying that every product will work in that way. I'm just trying to dissect the products so that you people understand that if I put enough mind, I know how to build these products. What is the fundamental behind these products? Right now, these AI products look like magic. But now you are able to understand that, no, they are logical. If I put some effort, some time, I should be able to understand them. Yes. So imagine you are going ahead and discussing from your understanding, like your understanding has become so much improved with just one case study. What if I explain you so many other examples? Okay, what if you go ahead and go through so many case studies? Okay, I'll give you one more. And for others, we have like a much bigger program at HelloPM, which you can go ahead and take the advantage of. Okay, so this is there. And if someone wants to understand more about the programs and whatever else that we do at HelloPM, I would request you to just go to this website, hellopm.co. And if you are a person who cannot go ahead and read that long, you can just click on this video in order to understand what we do. Okay. But right now, moving back to the session. Yes. And also, a very important thing. Although I have told you about the cost considerations, let's say I have told you about the cost considerations, that we need to go ahead and do these many things in order to, we need to go ahead and do these many things in order to, let's say, estimate the cost of the model or cost of inference. But do you think that companies such as OpenAI and other AI product companies are making money? Tell me yes or no in the chat. What do you guys believe? Are these companies making money right now? Yes. Very good. Yes. So understand it from a very small business. So rather than telling you about the stories of the tech world, I try to keep things simple and very grounded. Okay. Let's say you are someone who wants to earn some money for your family, right? You do not have, let's say, the soft skills. You are not fortunate enough to go ahead and go in a good college. So you want to go ahead and start, let's say, driving an Uber. Okay. You want to start driving an Uber. And if you want to invest in Uber, what you will do is you will maybe buy a car. A general car which is used in Uber is around 8.5 lakh rupees in India, which is, I think, generally around $10,000 in US. Okay. This is how much a car costs. right? But understand, you cannot calculate your money on every trip in order to estimate that after this point of time, I am going to go ahead and get the money. Because yes, in the theory, it will work, but you will be getting demotivated by understanding these number of hours. Okay. So what you do is you go ahead, because you do not have, let's say, if you are looking to become an Uber driver, there are higher chances that maybe you will not have this kind of money, which is, let's say, with you right now, right? So what you will do is you will take a loan from someone who has the money, which is the bank, or maybe your friend who is rich, right? And then what they will do is they will give you the loan. Every month, you are going to ride Uber. You are going to do Uber. Let's say you take 250 rupees or maybe $5 for one cab. You do so many trips. And then you are able to, for 8.5 lakh rupees loan, you are able to pay them 20K rupees every month. Right? So you are paying them 20K and you are making about 35K. 5,000 is for, let's say, your fuel and all. Right? So in the net, you are making around 10,000 rupees. So your money is being made, but you understand that someone is actually pushing money in you. They are also earning some kind of interest. And now it is becoming viable for you to do and take this vehicle. After a certain period of time, maybe a couple of years or 2-3 years, your loan will get finished. The vehicle will become yours. It might have some efficiency issues, but then it will start giving you more and more money. Why? Because you don't have to pay anyone's interest. Right? This is a fundamental model that every, let's say, someone who is starting a business, they work on. Okay. And understand, guys, OpenAI, Google, these are also businesses. Why do you think they are going to work in a different way? Okay. So what is happening here is OpenAI created a model. And for that model, they have spent billions of dollars in training, research, R&D, and everything. But they did not have money. Sam Altman did not have this much money to go ahead and put. And even if he has, he's not going to put it there because that is not a wise decision. So they will take help from people. They will take help from maybe someone called as Axel Capital or Tiger Capital or other VCs or pension funds or Microsoft. Right? So that they are able to fund the development of this model. That is called as funding. It is not new. Don't think that funding is only in the top tech world where people are sitting in their ivory towers and coding behind their laptops and supercomputers. It is common. It has been there for a long period of time. It is the basic understanding of business. Okay. They get money. Now, slowly, these people are starting to get the money from the customers. But still, that money is nowhere near to what they have invested and what is their cost of operating the same. Initially, they have to give these things for free or with minimal amount so that they are able to get something called as adoption. This particular strategy, where you first give things for free or a lower cost to get the adoption, is called as penetration pricing in economics or land grab strategy. You try to grab as many people as possible. There is a fight between Gemini and OpenAI and other people to ensure that enterprises are using their APIs, and they are offering some fantastic plans to these kind of players. Okay, so this part that I've told you that they are in the land grabbing strategy. Right now, they are not taking enough money. In the future, when they are able to prove that, boss, we are actually able to give you some solid work. Right? Similarly, as the technology is evolving, the cost of inference is also going to go down. The cost of inference is also going to go down. Understand, initially, when you are working as a Uber driver, you have to spend 2 months on yourself in order to learn about how to drive. Right? Similarly, these models are learning. They are evolving. With time, we have seen in the past days that the GPT, like initial versions of GPT, were costlier. Now it has become much cheaper. Like 4x, 5x, 10x. The cost at some places has already reduced among multiple models. Right? So this is the modeling. Right now, if you are a product manager, rather than the monetization angle, you have to focus more on the value and the convenience angle. Right? Focus on more on the value and the conventional angle, like the convenience angle. Technical angle, I've already told you, it's only about fitting multiple things that are working together in order to build a use case. Okay, so that is the Granola case study. I have also told you the business strategy from the same. Okay, so we talk about value, use, the feasibility part, and also the viability part. Okay, now I can go ahead and maybe give you one more case study. Okay, just give me a moment. Okay, so other case study could be this interesting website called as ChatPRD. So many product managers face a lot of challenges in creating PRDs. They think it's a waste of time and it takes a lot of time for them. Okay, so someone created a product called as ChatPRD, where what they do is you just have to give it a prompt. The prompt will contain whatever is the context, who are the users, whatever research that you have done around your PRD, like about your users and the use case. You give it to this tool called as ChatPRD. Okay, I will show you how this product looks. So this is ChatPRD. What it does is it writes PRDs. Okay, so this is what the interface looks like. You can click on help me write a PRD. Then you will give it a prompt. After that, it will generate a fantastic PRD for you. Okay, and the cost is very less, 5 months. You'll understand why the cost is so low. Okay, so this is a simple product, and the case is also very simple. How it works is the feasibility part is you will give it a prompt. You will give it, let's say, some content. The content will be fitted into a prompt. The prompt would be like, you are a seasoned product manager who is pro at writing effective PRDs. Given the following information, make a PRD in this particular format. And the format could be taken from anything on the internet. Right? And then it will generate a good PRD for you. And then it will also allow you to go ahead and add some follow-up questions. Right? So you can also create your own version of ChatPRD. You can watch my video from YouTube or other videos from YouTube, understand what the ideal PRD looks like, copy that and give it to ChatGPT that this is my understanding, this is my context, and convert this information into this kind of PRD. And then you will get the PRD. Right? Parallelly, you can also ask PRD in order to improve your prompt. You can ask that if you have any questions that should be answered before you give me the PRD, then let me know these questions so that you are doing the better research. Right? So PRD, ChatPRD is nothing but a simple prompt that is built on the top of top templates. And then this product is being recently acquired by some of the companies. I'm forgetting the name. Some of the company has acquired ChatPRD very recently. I think Grammarly or Atlassian is a company. Right? Or Coda, I think. Okay. So this is there. Very simple product. Now, if you want to understand the value, what is the value? It helps product managers save time. Plus, many product managers struggle that their company follows a particular format in writing PRD. But when they do the research, it takes them a lot of time in order to put everything in the structure together. So even if a PRD saves you 1-2 hours of times every week or every month, that is good enough of an investment for you. So there is a value. Right? But if you sell this PRD solution to someone who is engineer, they will not appreciate. So right user, right problem. Second is about the usability part. So they have given it an interface of a chat. So it's easy to use. Plus, whenever the PRD is generated, you can edit it line by line so that it is usable. Right? And they also allow you to edit a PRD. You can give it a PRD and then it will be able to give you the feedback on that PRD. Right? Valuable, usable, and then feasible. I have told you what they do is a simple call to large language model. So they have created a good interface of chat where they have put a prompt. You can put your data. It will go to an LLM such as OpenAI's GPT. Then it will give you the result in the form of a PRD. Right? And then The viability part. Viability means, does it make sense for the business? It's a new business that does only one thing, which is creating which is creating PRDs. They understood what is the ROI for the customer. Product managers are the users of this product. They are generally handsomely paid. Okay. So if you are able to save 2-3 hours of work every week for the product manager, they should be okay to give you $5-10. Right. So this is from the customer perspective ROI. Plus, from the cost perspective, company perspective, you will again understand the number of tokens, output, input, and then what is the cost of serving these people. And then you will arrive at something, maybe a $5 plan. Right? So you can take any product in the world and you can break it down into value, usability, feasibility, and viability. And then I can assure you that you are going to learn more about products and AI products and how technology operates by doing this kind of analysis than by reading theories again and again. Right? So understand, I was able to tell you about multiple APIs through this talk. If I take more examples, and if you take more examples, you will be able to discover more and more things. Right? So I will go ahead and give you 2 sentences. One sentence is, talent is pursued interest. Talent is pursued interest. What it means? Don't think that right now you don't know about AI and then a moment you are going to know about AI. No. This path would be difficult. You have to do a lot of practice. You have to follow your curiosity. You have to follow your interest. If you are interested in becoming an AI product manager and knowing about AI, just thinking about it will not do it. You have to pursue that interest actively. You do not know about AI yet. But if you put things in the right direction, then you are going to learn about it. So if you want to become talented at AI, you have to pursue your interest of AI, and pursuit is not easy. You have to put hard work. Right? The second line that I want to give you is, learning is course correction, which is, theory will not help you. Theory will give you some base, but you need to get your hands dirty. You need to do some case studies. You need to build your own products. You need to do your own tear downs, dissect the products in order to learn better. Which is, you will learn something, you will create something, you will learn from your mistake, and then you will go ahead. Okay. And the program that we offer at HelloPM, like a bigger program, and also in this part, we focus on case studies. We help you build your own product in the end of the program to make sure that you are able to learn things practically. Not me, but anyone in the world cannot teach you AI or any practical technology without this particular part, without you doing the work. So we go ahead and create that kind of environment that you are able to collaborate and build things, do case studies, get the feedback from us, and then you build the products. Okay. And then the third and the most important part is, understand, right now, all the 1100 people who are there and maybe thousands of people watching on YouTube, you people are deciding to be in this session after 1 hour and 44 minutes. That means you are motivated and inspired. Right? Okay. Tell me yes or no if you agree with this. I have taken this assumption. So tell me yes or no if you are motivated or not. Like, tell me motivated or inspired in the chat if you are looking to do so. It is a Sunday evening and we are almost about to complete the program of 2 hours, and then you are still in the session. That means you are definitely motivated. Okay. So that's great. That's great. Okay. Understand, for this AI sprint, about 15,000 plus people, I think today it has already reached 17,000. These many people have registered. Out of which, yesterday on YouTube, about 2.5 people watched. And in the class, about 2.5 people are there. Maybe let's say 5K people were there. So you already saw that although everyone is interested in AI, they are talking about AI, they are registering, there was a less turnaround. Forget about people who have seen the notification, then they have not registered. Right? These are the people who have registered and these are the people who have joined. And today we have about 1,000 people on YouTube and about right now 1,100 people. So maybe 2,000 people who are there, which means you people are motivated. These people were also motivated at some point of time. These were also motivated. Right now you are also motivated. But eventually people who will go ahead and take a step and do the learning are actually going to be less. Why? Because of this very important sentence, which is, always remember this. Inspiration is perishable. Inspiration is perishable. It will go away. You are motivated right now. If you do not act right now, if you do not go ahead and take an action, do something, then you are going to lose that motivation. Many people have already done it. Okay, so now I am going to go ahead and suggest you one exercise that everyone needs to do. Okay, and this has to be a public exercise so that you are able to celebrate your curiosity and you are able to inspire other people to learn. Okay, so the exercise is, I will write it down in text because my writing is not so good. So the exercise is, pick 2 AI products. You can pick these products from anywhere. Okay, there are so many AI products that you are using, that you are not using. You can pick any 2 AI products. Okay, and then first part, do a dissection based on value, usability, feasibility, and viability. In viability, we talk about ROI, cost, and strategy for the company if it's a bigger company, right? And then you have to do it in a very nice case study in the form of PDF or like in the form of a document or a slide, and then you have to export as a PDF and post on LinkedIn. Okay, please do not use ChatGPT to do this assignment. Why? Because your purpose as a product manager right now is to think. I am not giving you this exercise so that I want you to put the efforts. I'm giving you this exercise so that you are able to develop that mental muscle. If you delegate this to ChatGPT, then there is no purpose of this exercise. Okay, so you have to move from using AI to building AI. And for that, this is important. Okay, so this is an exercise that everyone needs to do. And also, you can also optionally tag HelloPM and me, Ankit Shukla, so that I can go ahead and do some engagement and maybe give you a couple of comments on the things that you have done. Okay, so this is your first exercise that you need to complete by next week. Okay, a quick yes or no, everyone, if you're able to understand the exercise. Yes. We are going to have like an additional Q&A session where we will answer every question. Right now, just go ahead and understand and yes. Right now, just go ahead and understand what I'm trying to tell. Okay. So with that being said, I think we can wrap up the session for today. We have talked about the 4 components of a product. I've given you 2 examples. We talk about so many things here and there, which is the strategy of the company, how companies got funded, and so many things. Okay. Today's session was based more on storytelling and practicality of applying everything that we have done in the last session. Okay. In the next session, I'm going to talk about a very important part. Okay. But before I could tell you that, everyone, please go ahead and fill the feedback form. Where is the feedback form? Just give me a moment. Yes. So I'm mentioning this. Okay. I'm mentioning this so you guys can tell us yes or no so that we can share with you a different form. Yes, everyone fill the feedback form. Let me see if I can give you the QR code of this. Just give me a moment. Yes, next weekend, that is the same link. Guys, I also want you to go ahead and spread some word around this AI sprint so that we are able to help as many people as possible. We have discussed this. Yes. What we are going to discuss in the next session, I'll tell you in just a moment. But before that, put the feedback. Yes. Yes. Give me a reaction if you are done with the feedback form. Just give me a reaction. Yes. So next week, now you have got 5 days in order to revise everything, because next week we are going to move in a faster gear. Okay, because we have to talk about a lot of things. We have to go in a faster gear next week. Okay, everyone, please submit the feedback so that I can go ahead and give you the agenda for the next sessions. Let me check how many people have submitted. Guys, please submit the feedback form. Super important. Yes. Also, everyone, sometimes in some time in the group, we are going to share also on your email, we are going to share a form where you can go ahead and create a post on LinkedIn, like about the summary of what you have learned in these 2 days. Okay. And then you can share it on LinkedIn. And you can go ahead and like put that link in a form that we are going to give you so that we are able to give you some certification and maybe some additional session and content. Yes. Videos are uploaded on YouTube as well. Yes. Everyone, please go ahead, submit the feedback. Super important. Cool. So I think everyone would have the link. So I'll move ahead. So everyone, in the next session, we are going to discuss about a very important part whenever you want to create a AI product, which is called as context engineering. And in context engineering, we are going to talk about RAG, prompt engineering, and fine tuning. And I will tell you, today I have taken simple products, Granola and ChatPRD. Next time, I'll take some complicated products such as Cursor and Lovable. How they are built, what is the intent, and how they have done all the research and how they were able to create the product, like the system design diagram. Okay, so this is what we are going to do next week. My only request to everyone is that make sure that you are able to celebrate this curiosity of learning product management. Talk about it on LinkedIn, reach out to people, send this message to your friends so that they are able to go ahead and leverage the value of these free sessions. Okay, everyone, go ahead, practice, never stop learning. We are going to see each other next week. The next 5 days are very critical. Whether I'm sure the 1,100 people who have joined today, they are going to be less in number. So please make sure that you remember what I have told you. Inspiration is perishable. If you take action in the next couple of days, you are going to make it to the next session. Otherwise, we'll be happy with 200, 400 people in the next session. Okay. Thank you, everyone. Bye. Take care. Don't let your inspiration die and never stop learning. Take care and thank you. Bye, everyone. Take care. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Take care. Bye.